Alrighty, everybody, welcome and happy Thursday to you. You've almost made it to the weekend. Not quite, but you're close. And today, I have some things to show you, but also, I'm pretty excited because we are going to talk about world building today. I'd like to talk about buildings and locations and have a discussion. I'm pretty excited about this because I'm going to be drawing Chucks Cottage today. It's one of my favorite places. Hey, Hefe. Good morning. Or good evening for you, huh? Afternoon. I want to show you, because we've been working on this for so long, the cover for WantedHero.com for my homepage, and I got it done. I got it all done. Okay, so we've got Hoban here, which is fine, but I want to show you all those 56 characters. They're done. Now it's with the shadow on them. Let me take the shadow off so you can get a little bit better view. But that is the entire piece of artwork. I think it turned out fabulous. I'm so pleased with this. And I'm going to blow it up here and I'll show you. We'll start in the corner. You've got Navalu up here in the corner, a woman playing a lute behind. You have one of my seafaring individuals. We've got, I think that is Famine, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the upper right corner. This right here, an immortal. We have Wood, who is the owner of the Roadkill Tavern. We've got Morty Teetlebaum, who is a tinkerer. We have one of the robes. We have Doddle. Dobby. Doddle. It's one of the three Technomago. We've got Hoban. We have Filbert Bellows, the first gnome billionaire. We have the fictional character Buddy Keisler, who was inspired by my real life friend and New York Times International best-selling author Buddy. See, I'm doing it again. Barry Eisler. You should check him out. BarryEisler.com. Another robe. We've got Green, Lucky Feller, and the loot. You can see that little bit of the loot. That's Huey. You'll learn more about him later. We have one of the Theron. Apparently just had a meal. We have my marketing director, Death. So nice to have him around. We have King Borislav. Yay. He is also known as the White Wolf. He is a shape changer. And that red below his bottom lip is a stain because he prefers to transform into a giant wolf to go out into the forest to hunt and to eat rather than being with other humans. We have the High Elder. We have Alhana, Lucky Feller, Gnome Warrior and Bodyguard. We have Elder Altoran, who is the elder that is over all things of darkness and evil. And he's a good guy, actually. He just studies and is, I guess you could say he could be the, not the equivalent, but in the general category in that direction. Kind of like with Harry, in the Harry Potter books, you'd probably you'd probably classify him as more of the teacher against the dark arts, that kind of an individual. This is Vin. This is also one of the Technomago. Cranky as all get out, but very, very gifted with magic and technology. Rashima Giebler, who is a journalist for WHRN in Clockwork City. She is a backstabbing witch. She is. Adorable is able to flirt her way into just about any place, but she's an absolute witch. We have Kylene. Anyone who's read Prelude to a Hero will know who Kylene is. We have Elder Gadrid. He is a strategist. Of course, we have our main hero, Wendell P. Dittmeyer. His bodyguard, Dax. And his mentor, Chuck, also known as Morpheophilia Smith. And we're going to be drawing his cottage today. Well, actually, it's Wendell's now, but we have Dathrin Istul, who is the owner of the most famous bookstore and research location. If you are looking for very hard to find information or rare and exotic books, no matter what they are, you come to Dathrin Istul in the black market. Another robe. We have Lady Tamora, who is Nivalu, and actually she is Dax's sister, younger sister. And then we have Thule, who is the right-hand man and son of the head bad guy, Mahan. As you can see, he's not very nice. And Thule is Dax's brother, but yet not brother and sister, no. But brother, and brother, sister. Ah. And then up here we have, in the background, you see the little glowing hood and these other dark hoods. Those are Taku. That is a race. We have, this is, dang, my mind went blank. This is Darcy Dunnett, who happens to be a slag pilot. In other words, he is a extreme sport competitor. He is one of the competitors of Trench Wars, where gnomes fight in 40-foot, highly armored and weaponized robots. We have one of the Durin, one of the Wave Riders, Rim Riders. We have my head bad guy, Mahan. This is not him personally. This is how he reaches out through a magical device, how he appears and talks to his son to command things. And we have Fred. Fred's a unique story. Fred happens to be one of the gnomes, as in garden gnomes, outside of Chuck's cottage. Why? Because he was cursed by Chuck for having a potty mouth and not giving respect. Not giving respect to the wizard. So, as punishment, for 1 year, he was transformed into a garden gnome where he is able to hear and see everything, but he is frozen as a statue in Chuck's garden. And he is allowed for, I believe it is 2 hours, might be 90 minutes, every night he is allowed to come back to flesh, animate his flesh, to stretch his legs, and to walk around. He cannot leave the yard. And at this particular point in the storyline, he's actually become polite enough and apologized to Chuck that they allow him in the house to join in games from time to time. So that's kind of nice. This here is Landria, I believe. She was the, let's see, how could we describe her with the Avalu? She would be the equivalent of a queen, but not quite. The Avalu don't look at, they don't have monarchy. They have more of patriarch and matriarch. She's the matriarch of the people. We have Death, one of the four horsemen. We have oh, dang it. This is a character, one of the secondary characters of book 8 that I'm writing right now. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to come back to her. This is Silhouette, one of the Nethanim. We have Father Noah, who is the religious leader of the Temple of Tigi. That's the gnome religion. It's all capital letters, Tgii, which stands for the great it is, which means that the benevolent deity of the universe happens to be a great sentient machine. My favorite character, which is Wendell's love interest in the story, this is Lily, who I modeled after my wife. This is pretty much a picture of her when we met. Another robe. This is Tabermain. Again, one of the three characters that I have, the Technomago. I'm kind of lightheaded today. I'm a little head cold, so I apologize for my pauses, brain farts, whatever you want to call them. I can't remember who this guy's name is. He and another character were only in 2 chapters, I think, in one of my books. But what he did, gosh, I gotta look up his name. But I put him in there because he invented a poison. He and his partner invented a poison that they injected into Dax to torture him. Anyway, so I put him in there because I just thought he looked very mysterious and mean. Can't remember his name. He wasn't one of those lasting characters. You don't see him again in the books. This is Leilani. She's a cannibal. And if you read Race to Tilthorin, you will read about the comical situation that Wendell experiences with Leilani, who, while she was measuring him for clothes, she sniffs up his arm, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" Anyway, she's the one that sold Wendell the Mago Weave that changes to his will. So that's why he's in this fantasy world, and he has a smiley t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. This is War. Again, one of the four horsemen. We have Shay, who is the youngest member of the Iskari High Council. We have one of the Rook. We have King Robert III. We have a Valen, which is a race. And I think that's just about it. I think we missed one person. That's who we missed. This is not Famine. I think this is Pestilence of the Four Horsemen. Did I get all of those? Famine, Pestilence, War, Death. Yeah. Okay. And then another robe. So if you look back again, yep, I think I got everybody. That's quite a number of characters, and it's done. Now, may I show you something? I don't know if this is going to work well or not. But let's go to Wanted Hero. I just want to show you the actual website of what it looks like now. So it's a little bit faded. We're trying to figure out why it's a little bit blurry on the site, but it still looks good. Anyway, so all the characters in Wanted Hero and Adventure you'll never forget. And as this now fits the snippet that I have at the top of WantedHero.com, and that is, you're a click away from magic, mystery, and epic adventure unlike anything you've experienced. Run from hordes, fight in 40-foot robots, and walk the path of your favorite characters while feasting upon the endless sarcasm and kick-butt humor of hundreds of unforgettable personalities. This ain't your mother's bedtime story, Buttercup. So there we go. Ta-da! Okay. Let's get back to our drawing here. So, what I want to do today, I'm going to have to pull up something on my screen. I'm hoping that I'm not going to freeze my computer. Our goal here today, of course, is to not crash. I want to get a picture out as reference. Been doing a lot of research. And I have another picture of Chuck's Cottage, but it's really not. It's not one that I. Well, it's an old picture. It's not that it's a bad picture, but it is an old picture. I don't think that I have it on here. Yeah, I don't think that I have it on here. That's okay. Yeah, I guess I don't. So we are going to, let's see, I don't know if we want to do it on a regular piece that way, or if we want to have it on let's do it on a landscape. So we have standard landscape paper. This is an 8.5 by 11 at 300 dpi. And I recommend anytime that you're doing a picture, always do it at 300 dpi. Always. And here's why. You never know, if you draw something that you absolutely love, if you're going to want to use it for something other than just online. Because I know we're talking about world building, and I'm making the interactive online experience on WantedHero.com. But I have printed books as well as ebooks. I have t-shirts, I have posters. I make things out of the artwork. Well, here's the thing. Unless it's vector art, unless it's an SVG that allows you to make the drawing as small and as large as you want it, excuse me, without losing the crispness and just the definition. A lot of that comes from like clip art. I don't always like vector art. It's not as smooth, and to make vector art, they have to create. They don't have blended colors, at least not that I'm aware of. I don't usually work with those files, but I've been doing more and more. I actually took my old cover. Here's a good example of switching this around. My old cover on WantedHero.com, which has, I might have it here. Whoops. My old cover that had all three of the Wendell, Chuck, and Dax. Do I have it here? Does not look that doesn't look like I do. But you'll notice if you've been to my website before, the picture of Wendell, Chuck, and Dax that they're holding up, and they're in like a lineup at a police station with like blood splats and vomit and stuff on the wall behind them. That was developed just for online, but I took it, created it into a vector which broke down the colors, and I made I think it's about a 4.5 foot tall by 8 feet long color banner, full color, and it's awesome. And it's the definition and the details are completely clear. So that's a fantastic thing to do with an SVG file. However, I recommend that you always make your artwork in a PNG file format, at least. Not the only, but I prefer PNG because it is a higher quality than a JPEG. And it's lossless, meaning all your details there. But also do it at 300 dpi. Some people will suggest more. I've seen 350, I've seen 450, I've seen 600. The human eye cannot see past 300 dpi. That's the level of detail our actual eyes can see. And that's also the standard for print. So if you take your artwork and you always make sure that you do at least 300 dpi in whatever you're working in, you will be able to take that artwork and you'll be able to use it for any project you're using on the web, but you will also be able to put it into print. So posters, books, t-shirts, whatever it is you decide to do, it's just you'll be able to cover more bases. And that's what I always try to do. I try to piggyback my efforts, so doing one thing allows me to accomplish many. I try to think that out in advance as much as I can. It's not always the case, but I try to do that. So we're going to do that today, because my hope is, or my desire is, I would like to make a t-shirt. I would like to make a poster. It will also be an article cover on Chucks Cottage, because I need to go into that in detail. And so I want to make sure that it's a really good quality. So we're going to start out with 300 dpi. It is a regular 8.5 by 11 turned landscape. We are going to use black, and we are going to go up and use a technical pencil. And you know what? I want to do something a little bit different, because it's easier on my eyes. It's less confusing to me. I'm going to go to the light blue, because as a cartoonist, as a comic book artist, I always worked with non-photo blue. Any of you who are making traditional comics, is there anybody left doing that? But anyone making traditional comics will know, on paper, you use non-photo blue. That allows you to draw in pencil whatever it is that you need. But when they go to scan the documents, it will not pick up that shade of blue. So it's bright enough for the inker, but you don't have to worry about all the hatch marks and erasing everything, which I always have to do if I'm using regular pencil. So I'm going to do it this way. And let's see, we need to have both sides of this, and I'm going to adjust the picture as we go, because I'm going to move it from side to side. But at this particular point, the cottage that I'm thinking of, I want it to look more like a shack or an outhouse. I also want it to look odd, as in a really off. I think I want it to even go further down, go like that. I want one side to be you guys see that? So maybe what I need to do, maybe I need to make it darker. That'll work. That works better. You can see that better. Even I can see that better. So I'm just going to scribble out that A-frame, but we're going to bring it back. Let's see, we want a little bit of a gutter. I've got pictures of outhouses over here as reference that I'm looking at. I really want to have the I think we're going to do a little okay, this is where I will take this picture and I will adjust it, give myself a little bit more room to work with, and I'll make the page bigger. Let's see, we're going to have the woodwork. Now let's see, we're going to need a door. Where should I put a door here? Should probably bring this down a little bit more, like so. Like so. just do a bottom, but I'll change that a little bit later. Let's do... I think having a little bit of a rickety door might be fun too. A piece of wood over, side. And we're going to need a window. Something crude. Really roughed in. Let's see. Knowing Chuck's lived in this for hundreds of years. I'm going to do that out like so. I'm thinking he's probably going to want a flower box planter. Let's see. Everything's going to be slightly off. Crooked, bent, worn. Let's see. Door open or closed. I think we might be able to have some serious fun if we have the door open. Because here's a unique thing about Chuck's Cottage. I liked the general idea of the TARDIS. Any of you who watch Doctor Who, I like that it's bigger on the inside. I liked that was used in, the Harry Potter movies, in which one was it? Goblet of Fire, I think. And they go to the World Quidditch Cup match. And there's all these tents, and Mr. Weasley ushers all the kids in and Harry in, and this little tiny, drooping tent turns out to be, this massive tent on the inside. Well, I've been thinking about this. I don't know how old the Harry Potter movies were, but I got inspired by the TARDIS. I love Doctor Who. I used to. But I love that idea of an unlimited inside with a confined outside. I also loved that it was a police box, something so small. So I thought back in the early 90s I wanted to have something that was very unique, and that something that would, like the police box, would just fit wherever it was placed, this cottage. And you go on the end, nobody bothers because it just looks run down, looks closer to an outhouse, except for with the chimney. So what could be on the inside? Well, I wanted to put a gigantic castle on the inside, but the place where Chuck lived was this, beautiful mansion, this beautiful estate. So that's what I did. And the descriptions of this are pretty good. Actually, I'll look this up. I'll look up the book. Let me open my Nook and I will get out the book and I'll read it to you. Let's see. Race Tilthorn. Here we go. Race Tilthorn. Let's do Cottage. Chuck's Cottage. It's chapter 2. All right, let's see. I go down a little bit further. Let's see. He folds vomit into his pillowcase and hides it. Sorry, that was Wendell. Let's see. So Wendell wakes up inside of Chuck's cottage, and he wakes up in a room that's modern. It has a ceiling fan. He's in a comfortable bed, and it's it's kind of a shock to his senses in one respect that he knows where he is, and this is completely out of place. Yet at the same time, it's like his home back on Earth, where everything feels normal. So that soothes him. So, Wendell's concerns and line of thought were overcome, however, by something all too familiar. He sniffed the air. A mouth-watering aroma of fried bacon filled the hallway, making his stomach grumble. Food. That was all the invitation he needed to quickly and quietly follow his nose to the carpeted stairs. Wendell was comforted to see that this house, or wherever he was, looked normal to him. There were no stone or torches about him. Even the wall wrapping around the stairs looked like any other house he'd find back home. It was plastered with pictures. Dozens of wood and metal frames displayed cute snapshots of people and events. Excessive, maybe, but still normal. Earth-like. Wendell frowned. But I'm not on Earth. There was one in particular with the old wizard, and that caught his eye. Chuck was holding an ugly baby with enormous pointy ears tugging on the long gray beard. Both were smiling. Well, Chuck seemed to be in a moderate amount of pain from the rough yanking of his facial hair, but he still looked happy. Wendell smirked at that. Slowing his descent, his eyes rolled from one photo to the next. Most of them were of the wizard and someone else. He was easy to recognize because he was always in a robe and pointy hat, whether it was white or shades of gray, and he couldn't mistake that crazy long beard. So many people he admired. Hundreds of different smiling faces beamed back at him. Wendell was able to identify the High Elder, his son, Shay, and even Dax in multiple settings. But that's where the weird photos began. There were dragons and great serpents wrapped around the wizard's neck and body, great cats so big they looked more like horses than felines. Wendell leaned in closer to study a picture of Chuck standing next to a giant so big the wizard, I don't know if that's a typo, sorry, probably not very professional for me to tell you there's a typo in my own book. But it says that the wizard only came up to the ankle bone of the creature. How many people does this guy know, he wondered. There were pictures of Chuck in formal dress, smiling while accepting awards, and photos of him standing on a field of battle in a pose of glory, his sandaled foot on a Valen's chest. Another displayed nearly a dozen other wizards, all with their pointy hats and robes in various colors, sitting around a table, laughing and enjoying drinks. The staircase finally ended, opening up into the living room, and Wendell skidded to a halt. No way! How is this even possible? He stammered out loud. Mounted on the center wall was a theater system, complete with the largest flat-screen television Wendell had ever seen. Speakers were mounted on either side of the screen as well as in each corner of the room. Right below the TV were several video game systems and a library of games to go with it. Wendell gasped at the setup and laughed to himself. So, whose place is this? Pictures say Chuck. Games say Dax, maybe? Oh yeah, came a voice, and Wendell glanced behind him. Along the opposite wall, as a rather large archway leading into a beautiful kitchen, the old wizard was busy cooking in a rather unusual way, with a tiny cord hanging from each ear. Yeah, baby, let's do this, he sang aloud to himself, adding a nod and a rhythmic shake of his hips. The abnormally long beard and mustache were stuffed into a pocket of a blue denim apron. Wielding a spatula in each hand, he flipped pancakes into a deep pan resting beside him and tossed hash browns about with the other. Surprisingly, the old guy was pretty spry, and Wendell bit his lips together, trying not to laugh. Though his stomach growled fiercely, Wendell didn't want to be rude and interrupt the wizard. Well, his moment. At least not until they got a better look around. And it goes on, talks about a letter that he's got, and things are not pertinent to this conversation or this stream, but he goes and he starts looking around, finds more pictures, describes the furniture. There's a piano there, and he says everything reminded him of home, especially the grand piano and the bay window. A bay window. Now, does this picture look like it's got a bay window? But it does. Maybe not this exact house, of course, but the carpet, the games, the TV, even the furniture, it was all stuff he saw during a typical day on Earth. And that's kind of the point of what I'm doing here. So this is the outer shell, and we're going to draw what everyone will perceive on the outside. But I think it might be fun maybe to open the door. We'll go like this. We'll open the door so that we can give everyone a little shot, a little glance of what's on the inside. That might be fun. So let's work on that. I'm going to draw for a bit, shut my mouth. Just enjoy the stream. Hello, Langna. Did you hear the story time? Just describing Chuck's Cottage, and I just think it's about time to have that artwork put on there. I think this is a bit too big, actually. So I want to squeeze it. Oh, wait a minute. this again. Squeeze. Put it about there. That's about right. How are you today, dear? Got enough rest last night? Hope you're doing well today. Gosh, yesterday I was just off, and today I just got this head cold that's a bit crazy. Awake? Can't stay, gotta go? Okay. Well, I'm glad. Well, I actually am setting up, just so you know, I'm setting up the stream. I won't be doing it on stream, I've decided, because I want to be able to have a little bit more control of my environment. But I am I created partially the templates, what do you call them, overlays, to start reading the books. So, should be fun. Something casual, but should be fun. So we'll get some of those going up soon. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to start with, I'm doing Prelude first. That's what I'm going through to do. So I'll do portions and go from there. Alright, so I've got that. And opening the door will drop something inside. I want to do that after I've done all the outside stuff. So, let's see, I want to make something extra unique about this though. There's a picket fence that is talked about. There's a back porch. So maybe this, like so. Which is kind of funny to have steps going up to the side of something that looks like it doesn't need to be there. Okay. Path going down. There's a bigger garden down there. Let's see. Trying to think. Do this. Trying to adjust it so I have it just right. Let's see, and then there's a path that leads up to it. So let's get that. Maybe a little chicken coop over here. The cottage right now is up on the moon. One of the moons. I know that probably sounds really strange, but Erimuri, also known as Sanctuary, is on one of the twin moons. So and they have a central forest. It's one of their filtration systems. Hello, Craig. You're with me for 5, still supporting you by night and by morning, starting to get direction. That's awesome. I have been struggling, my friend. Struggling horribly. So, I think there's a glitch in my brain, and I don't know what it is. We'll have to have a talk. But we're still on for Sunday after 7. So that is a go. So come on over to the house when you're ready. When you drop off the kids, come on over. And me and Kathy and the kids will be ready for you here. I don't know why I can't seem to get past I just have this glitch in my brain. I don't know why. So I can't seem to get to writing and stay there. And it is not a lack of ideas, which is a little, yeah, anyway. I'm not sure what's going on. Walk through a door and I am blown away. Be there after I drop them off. All right. That's not the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to do these posted in them. There we go. That looks about right. I'm going to end up moving this whole picture over, I think. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think we're going to do a little garden over here. But I think it would be fun. I'm going to put this on a different layer because I'm not quite sure. I'm going to put flowers over here and have Chuck. Have him pouring out water onto one of the flowers. We'll do that. Whoops. Okay, we need to back that up. All right, love you back, little brother. Have a good day, buddy. Hello, Questmaster. How are you today? Oh, my baby is not happy. Okay, meld those together. Good to see you. Boy, my little one's just having a bad day. She's out there just hollering. She's just barely over 1, and she's just figured out if she hollers, and sits in one place and throws a tantrum, nothing happens. Our family doesn't work that way. I had someone once, a family member told me, he says, well, I'm going to act this way because I know Jamie will do this. I was like, what? And she said, well, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I was like, not my house. My house is squeaky wheel gets changed. And I walked away. She was like, oh. So my littlest one, I have 9 daughters. 9 daughters that I absolutely adore. And I tell people, I says, I have 9 princesses and no princesses. A lot of folks just don't get that comment. I treat all my children with love and a measure of respect, but I require them to behave a certain way as well. And I do not enlist to the thought of just because you have a daughter and she wants something that she gets it. I don't give a crap what kind of a child you are. Just because you ask doesn't mean that you get it. And that's this entitlement BS has to be thrown out. There are no entitled children in my house. I have loved and adored children in my house. I have children that are taught. My wife and I strive to be a good example. But this whole entitlement stuff, it's just horseshit. Just horseshit. So, I was like, it was really funny. When I go out and I do things, my wife and I will, when we buy something, if we do anything with cash, we get change, we'll bring it home, we put them in jars. We know where every penny is, okay? But we use it to the very best that we can. For example, when my wife goes shopping, if there are any singles left in change, she will take all the singles and all the change and put them in a jar. And what she does is she saves that up over time. So when she wants to do activities with the kids, something big, something fun, go out, she has her own little, reserve there. And it's just the change. It's building up over time. Well, the children, bless their hearts, they notice that if that jar, this great big jar in mom's sewing room, is full and they've been good, they get an activity. So some of them started when they started going out and shopping and getting things like, if they've earned something and they go out and they buy a treat for themselves and they have, like 35 cents left or 10 cents left or whatever, they started putting the stuff in the jar. So the jar got filled a lot faster and they started doing more activities. And I asked some of the kids, my littler kids, why are you doing that? Well, because we want to share. Because we like going out and doing things together. I like that. So that's what they do. So I do the same thing, and I usually try to keep things within quarters and dimes. And, we're coming up close on Christmas. And the little kids, they don't have jobs, and I do not do allowance. I'm not going to pay my kids to do the jobs they ought to be doing anyway. Because everyone can have their own, however that you do things in your house, that's great. As for me, I just think that's a damn stupid move. I'm not going to pay my children to do the stuff that they should be doing anyway. My kids wanted to say, well, what are you doing, Dad? I'll tell you what I'm doing. If I stop doing what I'm doing, I says, we can have a nice little experience. You can stop eating. You can stop drinking things. We can turn off all the heat, and we can turn off the electricity. And all the things you don't notice, that's what Dad's doing every single day, so that your world revolves. It's just true. It's not being mean. It's just true. And there's one thing with me is I love taking at least one of my children, usually a couple with me, whenever I run an errand, which is pretty regular. But everyone knows that if you take a ride with Dad, you're going to get a treat. One way or another, something's going to happen. I'm going to buy something while I'm out. That's how I was raised. when I'd spend time with my dad, because my dad was on the road a lot, and he did, his business and stuff. He traveled a great deal, and so when he was home and he had to run errands, whoever he took with him, he would get him a treat or take him out to lunch or whatever. And during the summertime, my dad never took a trip without taking at least one of us kids with him. And when we got a little bit older, then he'd take my mom. And I love that. And so that my dad kind of instilled that in me. And I love that. So my kids know, go with dad, you get a treat. And lately, because we just had a new grocery store built, and we're out in farming country, there's like nothing out here. And like a block and a half away from our house, they built not just a grocery store. My wife and I in the state of Utah where we live, it is our favorite grocery store. By the way, if you're a Utahn and you're shopping, go to Macy's. Anyway, it's a family grocery store, and it's delightful. They cater to families and to kids. But here's the amazing thing. They build this grocery store. There's no other stores around. It's a full-size major grocery store. In this grocery store, I kid you not, all the things that I love that I go to different stores for, they have all those things in this one store. They have a little Japanese couple in there. They make sushi. And on Wednesdays, it's half sushi day. And they make the most amazing sushi. So I can go in there and have sushi. My favorite coffee place, Beans and Brew. My wife and I, we've traveled all over, and we see Beans and Brew. We'll hit that place and get ourselves, the $7 big frozen Mr. B's that are just, I don't know if you're awake because of the coffee or awake because of the sugar. And they said, way up north, 40 minutes away, they said, oh no, we're not going to be doing any more franchises. We have no plans for franchising for the next 3 to 5 years. We're like, oh, so it's just whenever we go to see our mom, we'll get one. And in there, apparently, Macy's, they noticed how much people love the coffee. They put a Beans and Brew in there. So now I got a Beans and Brew. They have a new section they wanted to try out. So they have a new cheese and import section. So I can get all my favorite olives, all my favorite cheese. There's nothing left. I mean, I literally can go get some exercise, walk for, 15 minutes to go over there, and get myself a treat of my favorite foods and healthy foods anytime I want. How is that not the best? So when will the Wanted Heroes section be open there? That... Funny that you mentioned that, FA, because I think that's one of the things that just kind of... I know, it just kind of hit me. This weighty feeling that's just on my mind, on my heart lately. Because I went to another Macy's up north, and I went to use their restroom. My wife was getting some stuff for baking, because we were going to Costco and some other places. And I come out of the bathroom, and I'm looking down the aisles trying to find where my wife is. And at some grocery stores and stores, they have the little tiny mini book display. They try to sell you, some paperback books on your way out. Anyway, so there's display all these mysteries, and coming close to Halloween, there's a couple horror books. They had some Stephen King books on there and all that. But they had 6 of the 15 books on that rack were of the same author. And, I mean, granted, he's probably the most prolific writer there is in the writing profession right now. But it just got me thinking, I've been writing for so long, and granted, I sell books. That's not, I just thought I'd be in a different place than I am right now. And I wonder if that's what's kept me from finishing this book. And I've rewritten this book like 5 times to make sure that it feels the same, the expressions that I use and the words that I use and the descriptions, the same as book 7. Because I don't want to start writing the next chunk of my series and have it seem completely different. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. I really don't know what's this glitch in my brain. So I'm just going to keep drawing and building and world building, and let's see if I can figure it out. I hope I can. And go from there. Now, so we were going to do world building while I was doing this, so I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Since we're here, where are we now? We are at the, wow, 1.5 hour mark. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and insert a commercial. A commercial not about World Anvil this time. Since we're talking about world building today, I would like to do a commercial on advanced world building. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pause everything, and we will be right back after this message. And we're back. See, that's so simple. And I will snip this and insert the commercial in there. So, but we're going to talk about world building and buildings and locations. One of the things that I like having are something called trigger questions. Now, these are specific. This is what I put in my world building guides. Okay? Trigger questions. Let me tell you a little bit about the human brain. Okay? And I learned this in learning self-defense and stuff. I hate bringing that kind of stuff up. Anyway, learn this about human nature, and that is our brains want to answer questions. Our brains, naturally, they are geared to solve problems. Most of us. I know there's exceptions to everything. Most of us, we are geared. Writers, our brains are meant to solve problems. So if you ask your brain a question, it will seek to answer it. So what I learned was, when I developed a series of what I titled trigger questions, I could take any subject and I could go through those trigger questions, and it would force my brain to comply and be creative, and I could write that information down to grow my world. So right? World building journal. Now, on locations, I have all sorts of things, but I've got, let's see, events. What have we got? We've got lore. I think part of this we're probably going to do a few from lore. But also have objects. Buildings could also be used as objects. Let's see if we've got another one. Let's see. We've got beasts. What else? We got plants. We have illnesses. I think that was about it. Yep, illnesses. Illnesses, plants, beasts. This is my general. So you have, I think, 10 of each. Object. Yep, we've got object. Got lore. So give an example. Oh, we have oh, that was location. So we got lore, we've got event. We've got characters. I think I've got most of these are characters. Oh, and we have races. All here with your custom table of contents and index. But even if I take things from lore, okay, You often, Hefe says, I often list and ask who, what, when, where, why, and how. Exactly. And this is like a hybrid of that. That's a brilliant way to do it, if you do that. However, trigger questions I found worked because I do the same. But I found that trigger questions work better when they're specific. When they force your mind to go down a certain creative path. Does that make sense? And so that's what I do. Let me give you an example. Okay, so we have like with lore here. Speaking of lore, so these are lore trigger questions. What kind of lore is this? This is the general. Is it a myth? Is it a legend? A belief? A religion? A race? Is it magic? Is it rumor? Is this lore something which involves a few people or an entire city, country, or species? Is this lore commonly known and or believed? Is this lore something completely rejected by one set of people while embraced by another? Do you see how this starts twisting and refining the things that you think about and the things that you create? That's the point of a trigger question. Nefe says, and you create questions to answer about a topic. Like for the Flash Challenge, I listed those question starters, made them to full questions, and answered them. See, that's brilliant. That's pretty much what I do here with this. So with a building and location, I had asked myself questions about Chuck's Cottage that were very specific. You know what? After all this, I am not going to have Chuck leaning out. I don't want to do that. I want to make this a building. I know. But I don't want to have him there. I don't want to put a character in here. I want to be able to use this picture in several places, including myths and legends. So I'm going to get rid of Chuck from the picture. And we'll just go from there. But we will make the garden area. Anyway, with Chuck's Cottage, I had to ask myself, what kind of building is this? What did I want it to do? A link. Do I have a link for this book? Is that the one that you mean, Hefe? I'm pretty sure. I go back here to Wanted Hero. Yeah, let's see. Published books. Special books. Advanced Worldbuilding. Yeah, because we have, if you go to WantedHero.com, for finding answers like those, I sometimes have to go with, what is this not? I wasn't able to function that way. That's kind of like that's a clarifying question in my mind. Let me see if this is right. That should work. Oh, nope, I missed the backslashes. https://advanced worldbuilding.com. That should work, I think. Try that one. See if that works. Let me know. That should just lead you to this page, Hefe. But if you type in world building into the search bar, you will find this page. And the main book right here, this is the actual digital book with the information, world building. But if you want the paper, these are all 400 pages. It is literally a huge custom organizing journal. I mean, the thing's huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, and I meant it to be that way. I want you to have it just chock full of your information, and then be able to perfectly organize it. But here on the right hand column, you'll see the top one is the journal, but then you have, for those who are creating monstrous worlds like Wanted Hero, we have one that is just characters that and what happens is each one has 90 templates for you to use, and then I believe I'm selling the templates as a PDF, so you can download print out as many as you need. I'm pretty sure I have that. I know I have it, I just don't know if I have it up for sale. I made it for myself and my kids. That might be in my Ko-Fi or coffee. Let's see. I'm gonna try this. This is an adventure. I have no idea where it's gonna go. Okay, so here's my coffee. And there's a shop. I have a shop now. Let's see how this works. Comic books. Okay, HD artwork. Okay, so those are my books, my comics. Nope, I don't have that up. I think I will put that up. So if you look later on today, Hefe, after this stream, about a half an hour, 45 minutes, I will take the PDF, the advanced templates, and I will put them in my shop, and I'll send you the link. We'll go from there, but I hope that helps. It's not a tool I usually use, the what is this is not, but it helps when I get stuck while building. Yeah, I would totally agree with, especially if you're really trying to refine your material. Completely agree. So, I'm with you. Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Just got the main book on Amazon. Well, if it's advanced world building, just the book, then yeah, if it's not, because I sell the paper, all the paperbacks are sold through Amazon. Yeah. Oh, you have it? Okay, cool. Yeah, my method is, it's funny that we're talking about this and we're doing Chuck's Cabin, because I nicknamed my method as the Upchuck version. Because I just don't ever have problems with writer's block. Like right now, that's what I was telling my friend Craig. I don't know what's going on with me right now. I don't have writer's block. I have lots of ideas. Some I've lost heart in some ways, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. So I'm trying to figure this out. And we'll get there. We always get there. So it's okay. So my dad says when you get to a point that you're not sure, he always says stop, plant your feet solidly on the ground. He says go back to the last known point where you know you were making the right decisions, he says, and then stand your ground and wait. He says, wait until you know for a surety that you need to move forward. He says, but always fight to make sure that you don't go backwards. I always found that to be very helpful in my life. Very, very helpful. All right. Now, On the inside, I'm trying to think. I gotta make this really. Stairs going up. Let's see. I've not read through it yet. Still working my way through the RPG character backstory guide, since characters tend to inform a lot of the details to me about my world. Yep, that's how I do it. I think if people are struggling with knowing what to write, I think they haven't gotten to know their characters well enough. So, fun thing that I've been learning. I was mentioning this to another writer just the other day, and I've been doing research on indie authors, because that's what I am. Looking at those who are making $100,000 a month or more. And it's sporadic. It's not an every month thing, but these are folks that are making really good money doing their books, which is really encouraging. And I still have a day job. I'm making money with my books. I'm taking this forward. I'm going to keep going forward. But I'd like to be in that position where I'm doing all my own writing and drawing for myself. And I think I'm very, very close. I noticed something that seemed to be consistent among all those who, the common denominator of those who are making that full-time living and then some. I mean, $100,000 a month, that's good for me for a year. But the common denominator, what I'm seeing is that all of these people have a core. It's not their only books in every instance, but they have a core series that is at least, I think my notes were that were at least 10 books long. So they have a long main series, and that's the core foundation of the strength of their publishing and their fan base. And I watched I cannot remember her name, and I feel horrible because I did not click subscribe on the YouTube channel. And I'm trying to remember what the name is because I want to find her again. Oh, that's right. Wait. When we look at YouTube stuff, there's a history, huh? I mean, I look at a lot of YouTube stuff, but that would be worth going back. So anyway, this is a lady who yeah, there's a history. Okay, I don't know how far it goes back, but I'm going to sit there for hours and try to find her video again. But this is a lady who, she has been writing for over 10 years. And I like that she's honest. I mean, she's excited. She did these videos because she was really excited, like I was about my artwork. When I sat down, I'm doing my taxes and realized how much I've made from drawing, how much I made from drawing on Fiverr. And I was like, that was not my original intent, but I've done so well on Fiverr. And she did the same thing about the sales of her books. And she says, "Oh my goodness," she goes, "I've made more than $1 million on my books." Wow, is all I could think of when I heard that. And she goes, "And I want to show you how it happened and what, what I did, what that, what the actual numbers are." Now she didn't, and she even admitted, she's like me. I don't, I can't give you to the exact penny. She goes, "I'm going to give you general because I don't want to go through and do the math. I'm very bad at math." And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's me. But it came out to something like over the past 10 years with her books, and I can't remember how many books she said she has, but she's made $1,120,000 or $32,000. And she says, now granted, she goes, this is over 10 years. Still, how many of us would say, I'd love to make $1 million plus over the next 10 years? Here's the thing that I started wondering when she said that. Are we consistent with what we're doing, with the seeds that we're planting to find success with our stories? Or are we planting bamboo? I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about, but it's pretty interesting with bamboo. Bamboo can grow at a rate of like a foot a day. I don't know what it is. It's a lot. A foot to 18 inches a day. But here's the thing. For the first, I think it's like at least 3 years, 3 to 5 years, it doesn't grow at all. So can you imagine being a bamboo farmer and you're watering and you're putting nutrients into the soil, and everyone around you is growing other crops, and nothing happens. And you come back the next year, and you water everything, and you're putting nutrients into the ground, and everyone else has their next set of crops, and you have nothing. And people start looking at you saying, what the crap is Bob doing? He's wasting his time. Why the hell is he over there messing with the soil, right? Like Jack and the Beanstalk. Kinda. Yeah. I like that. Except for when Jack, he goes and he throws it in there and all of a sudden it explodes. But it still is similar because think about it. Then I think it's 5 years. I really do. I think it's 5 years. I could be wrong, but I think it's 5 years. Then in the 5th year, it unlocks that pent up energy and potential, and those bamboo trees just shoot out of the ground, growing more than a foot a day. Again, all these, I'm trying to give you generalities, so I could be wrong with specifics. Don't fact check me, because I'll just walk away. Anyway, thing is all of a sudden, then all of a sudden, 1 month, boom, we as the bamboo farmers, we've got this whole forest of bamboo. Is that the way that it will be with our books? Are we willing to play the long game because we've got to wait for that one specific situation or that one specific person or people or opportunity to flip everything around? Are you willing to work that, a good length of time without having that explosion? Because I would say if I described my own experiences, I would say that I've been working that freaking soil for 30 years. But in all honesty, working it hard since 2005, which 15 years, so half that. And I feel like I'm seeing, at this point, I can see a little stem coming up through the ground. This little leaf, pushing up through the soil, trying to get its first glimpse of daylight. That's where I feel I'm at right now. And yet all the seeds that have been planted, all the watering that's been done, I think it's close. But you might want to think of that. What is... what is your path? What are you doing to prepare for that too? Do you have everything in place with your books, with your creations, to have that wild flow come to you? Could you manage if 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 or more people all of a sudden showed up and wanted what you had? Could you manage that? Are all the things that you're doing now and setting up your systems, are your systems in place? Have you automated just about everything that you've got? I'm bringing these things up because as indie authors or independent creators, we don't have the staff, we don't have the tens of thousands of dollars a month to advertise or to have employees. In most instances, it's just us. So do you have everything in place to be able to deal with that? It's funny, I've been doing, I know we're talking now, but I think this is important. And that is, I've been talking with my wife, Kathy Lynn, for a while. I'm going to kick back and I'm just going to visit with you guys for a bit. I've been talking with my wife, Kathy Lynn, and she asked me, instead of writing your books or drawing like I'm doing here, why are you doing these little tweaks and things? For example, I have been publishing my books since 2005, both comic books, and then in 2009 started doing my novels. I've done everything in InDesign, and I don't use that anymore. I still have it, and I can, but I decided to switch over to something else. Since I'm a Mac user, and I'm going to keep using my Mac, I decided to try to simplify my process so that I can create a standard of professionalism and also simplify what I'm doing. So I bought a program called Vellum. Now, I am a staunch supporter of Scrivener, still the best writing software I've ever had. I use it every day, and no, I will not give it up. It allows me to be mobile and to do things that I can't do any other way. And I have been using it since the very beginning days, and it is my preferred writing software. But I used to also make ebooks from Scrivener, and allowed me to format things beautifully, and allowed me to actually make a lot of money formatting things for other authors, including famous authors that would employ me. But this Vellum, within its limited confines, it can't do everything. It really can't. There's some things that I even wrote to their tech department and their company and said, please, you would be able to do so much more if you could offer these particular features with your software. And they just wrote back and said, sorry, we have no, we'll put it on our list, but that's not even on our radar. We have no intention of doing anything like that in the near future, which is a shame, and a crying shame, but I'm still going to use them. So I bought the commercial version so I can make as many ebooks and print as I want. But here's what Vellum does. Crap, I should be an affiliate for all these things that I talk about. The thing with Vellum, and it's only for Mac, so I'm sorry. The rest of my family are PC users. My son is a PC user. But it's only for Mac. But it also, there is now a feature with Scrivener that allows you to export something specific to vellum, which is fabulous. PC overlords. There's a use for everything. And just so you know, I had all custom PCs and then I switched over to a Mac. I prefer the Mac OS, but for the record, we are saving up so that we can try to build our very first Hackintosh. Because I don't like the way the direction Apple's gone. I think that they are screwing their customers. I will say that plainly and boldly and loudly. I do not like Apple since Steve Jobs died. I think the company has gone to shit. It's absolutely gone down the crapper. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad. I believe that it is the best operating system. But everything can be replaced, gentlemen. Everything. Your company, your computers, everything, you can be replaced. There are smart people out there, and there's always someone smarter. And I think you've gotten lazy. I think Apple has gotten lazy. And they're writing off their name instead of doing their damn job and giving us better products. That's just my opinion, but I'm sticking with it. Anyway, back to, I'm going to do a Hackintosh. Why? Because I want the operating system, but I want all the beautiful hardware that the PC industry provides. So we're gonna try for that. But back to Vellum. Here's the great thing about that software. You go and you take your script, your Microsoft Word or whatever it is that you have, and you import it in there. It will automatically format flawlessly. That's the key word. Flawlessly will format your story and allow you to export to every device and print, all with the click of a button. You can insert pictures, photographs, drawings, all that. I'm going to be able to put art in my book. I couldn't do that very well before when I was having to format with InDesign. So I learned that with this one program that was about $300, that I can now take and write everything that I want, draw everything I want, be able to put it into this program to arrange it how I want. I can put links in the books. I can put affiliate links in the books. I can tie everything together, do it once, and then press one button and it spews out the files that I need for every platform and every device used by mankind and print. That's just freaking awesome. Saves me so much time and effort, and it's just beautiful. Now, I can't use the custom fonts that I've been using throughout the rest of my books, but I'm going to redo all my books. I'm going to make them consistent and just do it. Plus, I'm making money now formatting other people's books. I've even told clients, no, don't pay me. Are you a Mac user? Yes. Then just get this program and you can format it. You don't need to pay me. It's like $300. So instead I charge $1,000 to format it and they pay me. And I tell them up front, you don't need to. Just pay $300 and you own the software. No, I don't want the headache. Okay. Pay me $1,000. I'll do it. I'll be done by dinner. And I do. And that's what I do. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. So, multiple uses for that. But those are the kinds of things that I'm doing to make sure that I have as much exposure as possible, that I am able to make a consistent product. And that's important. That's really important. Also, may I suggest, don't go deep, always go wide. And I am 100% against exclusivity. 100% is just no. It's funny. I've worked for so many people over the years as an artist, as their artists, and I am a work for hire artist. I do not make deals about, can I have a discount, or hey, if you just help me to illustrate my book, we can make a lot of money. No, we can't. No. I have no interest in that because I cannot live off income, and you cannot guarantee sales. And you just can't. So I get paid up front, and I get paid on the back end when it's done. And when I am done drawing, guess what? You get everything. You get all the artwork. You get all the source files. You get all the copyright ownership. And you do what you want with it. That's how I work. That's how I've always worked. I don't want to have a finger in your pie. I don't want to have a hold on anything that you are trying to create. That I think that's just wrong. That's not what you hired me for. You hired me to make something pretty or to enhance something that you're doing. That's my job. And then the rest of my time is to make people laugh and is to give them adventure. And that's why I do Wanted Hero. That's my world. That's my baby. So that's as far as we got today. And I'm probably going to finish that up on Tuesday. Ink that out and color it. Yeah, IFCOM, I had to use that. I actually got that. I got that term from a friend of mine. He is a 5'4" maybe ish. He's probably shorter. Irish Catholic lawyer. And I bring that up because he is a remarkable man. One of the most unusual and wonderful people I've ever met. Named Mike Reed. With Massachusetts. Yeah. So phenomenal lawyer too. That's what he used to say. He says, "Hey, can't live off income." So that's what I do. I set my price. I don't have any problem talking about money, being very direct, but I'm upfront and honest about it. And it's simple. And if people don't want to do it or can't do it, that's totally fine. That's part of the process. And I'm not for everybody. And everybody's not for me. Just like stories. Hello, Cage. Hola, Senor Jaime. Hola, Senor Cage. So that, I think, pretty much is my day. The world's really changing. It is really changing. But here's the thing. I think the world needs more of us now. Thanks, Cage, for the stream. For the hosting. Life is good. Life is good. Life is always good. It's always challenging. It's always good. You see, we finished. I finished the huge 56 character piece of artwork. So, and this is poster size too. I think I'm gonna make a poster and hang it on my wall because this is the actual size. Look at the detail on that. That's the actual size. Whoops. All these characters. Still my favorite. This is still my favorite. That's my favorite part of the whole dang picture. That's Wendell's love interest. And that is my wife when she was 18 when we met. I adore my girl. So, plans for the weekend. Gosh. Here's my plug. If you do not know what World Anvil is, you need to check them out over at WantedHero.com. Yeah, she's way pretty. She's gorgeous. Prettiest girl I've ever seen in my life. It's funny. I walked into church with my mom and my siblings, and as we were looking for a seat, everybody's quiet. It's after there was a prayer that was offered. And as we walked past the aisle, she stood up and changed places with her dad to get my attention. And it was weird because there were hundreds of people there in the congregation. It's dead quiet. And I was so... I don't even know how to describe it. It just hit me in the heart, in the mind, my spirit, all of it. She turned around and I don't know if I gasped or what, but I stopped. My family's still walking past, and I just stood there. And she looked at me, and she smiled, and she said hello, and I said hi. And then I don't know, I like woke up or something, and then I hurried and followed my mom. And, but here's the truth. We were engaged 1 week later. Married 30 years this December. So, Cage, life is very, very good. All right, everybody. I love you all. I'm grateful that you were here. Thank you so much. Remember that you are more than you think you are. I will say that till the day I die, and I think you are absolutely wonderful, all of you. Absolutely wonderful. And remember that. You are more than you think you are. You really are. And I want to encourage all of you to be the very best you can be. Whatever that is, I'm going to root for you. So have a great weekend. I really do hope that you will go to WantedHero.com. They're going to do a mega stream. We'll be celebrating World Anvil's 3rd birthday this Saturday. If you are in the Pacific U.S. or Mountain U.S., I know it starts at noon my time, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, I believe. And there's going to be a huge mega stream, and it's going to be fun. So much fun. So I hope you guys will show up. Anyway. Am I leaving you? You did. You dropped in super late. I go from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. my time. So you came in at the very last 10 minutes or so, Cage. I actually did this not only because this was the time that I could stream, but this was also the time that Wolfie said that she could be here. So, anyway, hey, Sable. You've been lurking. Well, you guys have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see some of you in the participating in the World Anvil mega stream on Saturday. So, 11 a.m. I am Mountain Time. Yes, I'm in Utah. So, all right, you guys have a great day. I am off to, well, after all this, I'm going to go kiss my wife. So, you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Come to Wanted.com. Come to WantedHero.com.
Almost.
Come to my dad's website and buy a book. All our books. At WantedHero.com.